This has been another great week in track and field with so many new world leading times, but none bigger than Kishane Thompson with his 9.77, a great 100-meter final for the Jamaican Olympic trials. We see Kishane Thompson here, and he looks really big. I looked up his weight. He's actually only 170 pounds, but to compare, like Oblique Seville's 140, I'd like to even see what an updated number of that would be, because he really reminds me a lot of like a Asafa Powell or like Johan Blake type of a build. And he didn't have a great start, to be honest. He didn't get out. He didn't react super well here. Gets his arms really wide as he accelerates. I mean, again, he's really strong in that lower half. We could see a big internal rotation. We see this a lot with these sprinters as they're getting going. We can see that knee coming all the way across, coming right back down into the ground. And really a lot in the left side where he gets that. Right side, he does a really good job being able to get good reach. He also gets a lot of side-to-side motion within the left side. I think it was great to have him running next to Oblique Seville so he could kind of stay up with him with that drive phase. I mean, he talked about afterwards how the goal was to be able to run kind of 60 meters and then relax from there. And not to say they necessarily didn't do that, but I mean, looking at a lot of these top sprinters from this weekend in especially the US trials, we saw like a Christian Coleman run 9.86 in the semifinals where he's kind of relaxing a little bit more, or Sha'Carri Richardson was running sub 22s in the heats and semifinals, and then in the finals ended up running 22 seconds. Christian Coleman ran 9.9. So point being is sometimes when you're going through and not running as hard, you end up running a little bit faster, right? So because to me, when you watch it, it didn't look like he kind of started to slow up in that last maybe 15 meters, but all through here, it looks like he's continuing to drive, continue to accelerate. And then from there, he just kind of gets enough in front of Oblique Seville to be able to make sure that he's able to win the race. And he could have probably ran faster. But again, it's hard to say when you have that kind of relaxation part of your running. Sometimes you end up running better times than when you're really forcing it. It's a debatable thing for sure. You could see, I mean, Oblique Seville is, they say, about 140, and then Kishane Thompson 170, 30 pounds heavier. I wouldn't be surprised if he's closer to 175. I mean, he's has a ton of muscle, right? He's, especially for a sprinter, right? Comparing him to really everybody else here, he's just a lot bigger of a person, has a lot more muscle, bigger build, kind of body build. And so to see him being able to run really elite times is really scary, because it shows that he is just a very, very powerful person, and that he is definitely somebody that's going to be one of the top competitors here in coming weeks. I mean, to give an example, he's about 6'1", and Aaron Knighton's about 6'3", 170 as well. He does a great job staying through his drive phase here, though, right? So we see him get kind of behind Oblique Seville. Oblique Seville comes up a lot earlier, and he just stays in that drive phase for so long. I mean, this is probably about 60 meters in, where he's continuing to drive, and now he's starting to get into his top speed position. And now that he's in there and really starts to push, gets plenty of range. Look at that extension he's getting out of his foot, out of his toe. That's great range through there. And then at that position, does a really good job of being at that 90, right? Because I'll see a lot of people that when their foot's coming off the ground, they'll be more in that position where their knee is more bent. They're not getting all the way out in front. He does a great job of getting that full extension of the leg, coming down, landing with that foot right underneath the hip. Really, really good job there, and gets plenty of action going back within the arms. I think it's really important to be able to not only be quick within the arms, but you also want to be able to have plenty of range as you're pulling back. Typically, we'll see one side have a little bit more than the other. For this one, we see the right side. So this left one, we don't get as far back, or he doesn't get as far back with that left hand. But with that right one, really gets a lot of reach, really gets a lot of extension, and therefore is very quick within that right foot. Where that left one, we're going to see a lot of extension, a lot of reach happening there. And you can see right when he gets to his top speed, basically, is when he kind of shuts it down. And he's probably about 70 meters or so when he gets into that position. You can see from this angle that right when he gets there, he kind of shuts it down. So he had maybe 15, 20 meters where he wasn't 100% pushing it. But again, I almost feel like that ends up being a big part of what allowed him to, get into a faster speed, is being nice and relaxed. But he's not in a great position out of the start. Just stays with Oblique Seville enough to be able to get into that top speed position, then really starts to be able to reach and separate. He's definitely, if not showcased as being one of the new favorites in the 100 meters, certainly he's going to be within the top three here. I mean, the fastest time so far this year here we have Kishane Thompson 9.77. We have Ferdinand Omanyala 9.79, and then Oblique Seville 9.82. Noah Lyles 9.83. I think that those are some of the fastest people that we're looking to see here in the 100-meter going to the Olympics. I think Marcel Jacobs is going to be up there as well. Obviously Fred Curley, Kenny Bednarek, those are going to be some of the main people that we're looking to see how they were able to perform in a month. But Kishane Thompson definitely implanted himself as somebody that is amongst the top athletes in the 100-meter, and we're looking forward to being able to see him here in the next month or so. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. You can click the like button, subscribe. We'll also leave a few other videos that will cover some of the same things that we just went over in this video. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.